NBA Straya, how are you going? Hey, man. You good? You should be. What was that? It is Hump Day, Wednesday, July 1st. Pinching a punch for the first day of the month. This is NBA Straya. I am your host, James Clements, here in Larry Armour Studios in the Hold Steady t-shirt. And wow, Kawhi is a Raptor. He really is. What a world. So we're tracking this going back to Friday last week. And sort of, maybe it'll happen. Like, there's a couple of other suitors out there. We'll talk it all out. It's crazy. It's legitimately crazy. But we're going to break it all down for you. But Kawhi Leonard has been traded from the Clippers. I've got some thoughts. Ja Morant got traded for a bag of chips. Quite literally a bag of chips. Like, not even the good chips. Like those, like the really crummy, like, home brand chips. Where you're like, oh, Mum. Really? We couldn't get a Smith's value pack? LeBron is done with the Lakers. It's all happening. I'll tell you what's not happening, however. Much of interest in free agency. We're going to break down every single move that's already happened, but really, there's the focus on sort of like the 3 or 4 big storylines. We'll hit on that, and then we'll sort of be talking about all this whelming free agency gear. So, pretty fun one, and look, if you thought this was whelming, just wait for the next couple of days. There's not going to be much going on. So, apart from, maybe some of these big names actually moving. So, Kawhi, LeBron, Ja, free agency, Jalen Duren, we're getting Jaylen Brown. Too many Jaylens in the NBA. We're going to talk it all out. It's a very, very fun episode. Let's get into it. Episode 1425 of NBA Straya. Let's go!
This is Josh Giddey.
G'day, this is Andrew Gaze.
This is Jack White.
This is Joe Ingles.
This is Dyson Daniels.
This is Chris Anstey.
This is Matthew Delvedova.
This is Shane Hill.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening and watching NBA Straya.
This is NBA Australia. Let's do it.
Watch out for the shark attack.
You better watch out for the attack of stuff happening before free agency starts. That was crazy. Seriously, it was absolutely wild. What's sort of been going down. Essentially, so we last did a show Monday, and I sort of left it to sort of later in the day on Monday. The Ja Morant trade has happened since then. The Kawhi trade happens in the wee hours this morning. LeBron bounces from the Lakers. It's all going on. And, who needs free agency, apparently? It's just some arbitrary date that you're just going to get all your stuff done if you're doing a big trade, I guess. I guess you should also continue to watch out for the attack of school holidays. I've enjoyed hanging out with the oldest squid today, just he and I, after dropped off the youngest one at his grandma's. He has a great time with grandma. And we went and saw, what do we see? Minions and Monsters in Hoyt's Lux. Hey, they should 100% sponsor this show because I love them. They have Hoyt's Lux tickets for cheap just because it's a weekday. I'm like, it's still a school holiday, you idiots. Like, basically as cheap as going to the movies by, like, in a normal seat. Anyway, so that was good. Nothing like being able to, like, sink a couple of tins while watching Minions and Monsters at 11:30 in the morning. But still, we also, got to hang out. I'm like, basically, we sort of, all this stuff's happened this morning. I'm like, all right, I'm going to keep track of this while we're hanging out. He loves Sushi Train. So we've like sat down in the Sushi Train. It was very, very fun. He's just deleting sushi. I'm like, bloody hell. Like, that's, just stay off the bloody premiums. Stick to the bloody green and the blues, or we're going to have problems, pal. Anyway, so we're having a pretty good time and sort of wandering around. And then I realized there's a spot in the shopping center that used to sell hats. and like assorted, cool apparel gear that I like. And a couple of these shops have changed since we were last there. I'm like, what the hell's happened? It's all very weird. So I missed out on maybe, your mate Jim buying himself a couple of new hats, which sort of bummed me out. But anyway, it was kind of like, it wasn't actually as chaotic as I thought it would be for a school holidays day at the shopping centre. So, High Point. So it wasn't too bad, but it was good spending time with the oldest one. Yesterday, I'll tell you what, it rained all day. It was miserable. It was cold. Just having the two squids indoors all day, it's just like, just sending me around the bend, mate. That's pretty fun. Gee, I can't wait to go to Queensland next week and then just hopefully it clears up there, but bloody hell. Anyway, if anyone's got any tips for the Mission Beach area, send them through. That's where we're going to be for a couple of weeks. It's going to be fun as. Right, that's enough about me. Or is it? Yeah, I think it is. Let's start with the daily. Oh, is it a whip around, Jim? Yes, it's a whip around. That's what the whip sounds for. The Knicks are still NBA champions. The Knicks are doing their thing. It is funny then sort of seeing like how I have to contextualize so many of these moves now in can this win this team the title? Like what do these moves contextually actually mean? And I think this is a lot of like, I bang on about this in the AFL show, Footy Unfiltered, right? Where the AFL can't stop shooting itself in the foot. The NBA is sort of just like, have at it, folks. Do your thing. And the AFL, I think so much of AFL media really struggles just to contextualize basically anything. It's like a cat with one of those laser pointers. It's like the AFL media is just chasing the laser pointer of the AFL doing dumb shit week in, week out, right? And it's interesting because I think we can contextualize a lot of the NBA stuff pretty easily. But the AFL stuff, man, it is shocking. So I think the weirdest part about all this, I mean, there's a few weird parts. Ja being traded for nothing. Kawhi back to the Raptors, LeBron. But I think the funnier part is that all this happened before free agency officially opened, right? So you've got the 6 p.m. June 30 American time where the floodgates open and you can announce all your deals and do your deals, etc. Which is still a bit of a joke because obviously these have all been worked out beforehand between the teams and the agents, etc. But in the olden days, 3+ years ago, this was like actually you'd get the avalanche. We clicked across 6 p.m. today, American time, and crickets. Gone are the days of Timofey Mozgov has signed 4 years. Was it $80 million? What was that one? That was a crazy one. Timofey Mozgov, Lakers contract. What was that? 4 years, $64 million. Jeez, that was amazing, wasn't it? Like all of those contracts. But the thing is, free agency has been such a, has got such a dearth of interest around it this year because of the lack of big names. But we've had, before free agency start, the Kawhi trade happens. So Kawhi's traded to the Raptors. I'll get to that in a second. LeBron announces he's bouncing from the Lakers. Peace out. We get the back and forth on Twitter between the team and the player. You're like, that's nice. Ja Morant has been traded. We find out the Warriors are actually trying to do the AD, LeBron, Steph Curry and Draymond because Draymond, surprising everybody, opts out. The Warriors, I'm assuming, were not surprised by him in doing it because they probably would have had a bit of a, hey, Draymond, if you opt out, we'll bring LeBron here and we'll trade for AD. I do like the fact that the Warriors are kind of like, yeah, we're going to get the big four together. It's going to be awesome. The Wizards are like, we have AD. Nobody asked us. I'll get to that in a second as well. So you got Kawhi, LeBron, the Ja trade, the Warriors' big four plans, the LaMelo trades happen, Julius Randle's been traded, and Giannis has been traded. And then if you go through the biggest names of free agency and you're like, Dean Wade? Jim, did you say D Wade? No. Dean Wade. It's like a combination of Dean Ween and Dwayne Wade. And here we are. Ironically, going to Philly, which is where, Ween are from around there, from like Jersey, Philly. Can I interest you in an extreme zinger meal re-signing? Can I?
Extreme zinger meal.
Probably not. It is like the fact that everyone's flipping out. Tim Hardaway to Miami. It's like, cool, I guess. I'm going to talk about all of that, but geez. It is very, very odd that this is the situation because of the collective bargaining agreement they signed, the CBA that they have. It's much more lucrative and much smarter for any superstar player to not actually reach free agency, but just to keep re-upping with extensions that give you the maximum allowable pay rise, and just get commensurate with your years in the NBA, etc. As you'll see with Jokic, right? Like he's got this huge extension still sitting there. Kawhi, once he gets to Toronto, can sign a massive extension as well, which is what essentially his only bargaining chip was about where he could actually end up, and he used it, so that's pretty fun. But anyway, so all of those things have happened before free agency even starts. Then free agency starts, and it's absolute radio silence, and I'm like, did my Twitter break? Like, do I have G's inside High Point? Like, what is going on? And just nothing happened. You're like, Jesus Christ, this is horrible. There's no other way to put it, I'll tell you.
This is horrible. There's no other way to put it.
It was wild. So, yeah, we sort of come out of today going, sure. Like, I'm sitting here waiting to do the show, and I'm like, I think that's it. Like, it's very late in the US right now. There's not going to be any more news, and here we go, I guess. Right, it was crazy. So, what was one of the first ones that actually sort of came across? It was like, really, Shams essentially just going, all right, well, yeah, I guess we've got Ousmane Deng going back to the Bucks and DeAndre, and you're like, oh, okay, that's it. Great. So, we'll do free agency in a little bit, but obviously the biggest thing today was the move that shocked the world to a degree. Jock Landale back to Atlanta for a 1-year, $14 million deal. To a degree, yes. I actually love that for Jock, the 1-year, $14 million. Look, him being paid as much as every season, or every AFL team basically his salary cap is awesome. I love that. And he's just going out there, carving it up, doing great work. And to get that sort of a pay bump from essentially going in on the cheap this year after getting the payout and then getting dogged. But anyway, off he goes. Our man Jock gets paid. Now, of course, the big story is Kawhi. The fun guy is heading back to Canada because the LA Clippers traded Kawhi. Back to the place where he won a finals MVP and an NBA title in 2019 in exchange for Brandon Spindles Ingram. That's right, old sleepy eyes himself, Grady Dick, and unprotected first-round picks in 2031 and 2033 to go with a pick swap in 2027 and 2030 and 2033 second-rounders. Wow, that's a haul. Great job, LA Clippers. It also, when you see that for a bloke who literally just turned 35 years old, and then you remember that absolute flabbergasteringly moron, blunder-headed, dumb fuck Nico Harrison traded Luka Doncic for a cooked Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and one single fucking first-round pick, it makes you just want to hit Nico Harrison across the face again if you're a Mavs fan. Old-ass Kawhi goes for 2 firsts and a swap, a couple of seconds, Ingram and Dick, and wow, Nico, what are you... Anyway, this is not about Nico. It's not about the Lakers. This is the Clippers. So what does this mean, Jim? Contextualize it for us, would you? Of course. That's what I'm here for. Obviously, for the Raptors, it means that they are once again loaded for bear, which is good. They've been in this weird holding pattern where you're like, if they're all extremely healthy, maybe. Right? First round this year, they were right there with the Cavs the entire time. And then they weren't. But this instantly raises their ceiling. You think about Scotty Barnes and Manuel Quickly, RJ Barrett, Kawhi Leonard, and Teenage Mutant Jakob Poeltl. And, like, they're all, like, you know, any other sort of moving parts outside of that. Calamari Boyles, like, what a defensive duo he could, like, you know, create with Kawhi. Love Calamari Boyles. They do still have a few holes on this roster. But if you look at the way that they sort of then match up against the top of the East, namely the New York Knickerbockers of New York City, your reigning NBA champions, or the Boston Celtics, who are in a very strange state of flux, created all of their own doing, the Raptors are going to be sitting there going, whoa, this was worth it. They brought back Trace Jackson-Davis as well as their sort of backup big man. They drafted Alan Graves, who was a really nice pick. I kind of think is a little bit of a do-everything kind of wing. You've got, yes, Kobe Walter, a.k.a. Jacoby Walter. You've got Jamal Shed. You got a few dudes there now all of a sudden. And you're just sort of hoping, fingers crossed, that Emmanuel Quickly stays healthy. And Poeltl and Calamari Boyles as your kind of big men-ish with Trace Jackson-Davis do it. Don't know, but they might have little bits and bobs here, but still looking pretty good. Love it. However, the risk here is fucking massive because his entire thing is like, Kawhi's like, yeah, I mean, he's 35 and the entire thing is he can sign a 2-year, $123.7 million extension, which is a lot of money for a bloke who's 35. And, yeah, your risk profile has risen dramatically because it's a 35-year-old Kawhi Leonard you've just given up 2 unprotected first for, as well as Spindles Ingram and Grady Dick, who was already cooked. That dude just went completely fucking MIA this year. So your risk profile along with your actual sort of output have risen dramatically this year, the next year, possibly the year after. Now, I'm no math magician, but that's only about 3 years from now. Right? When Kawhi Leonard will be 38. And those picks will still not convey for another 2 years after that. That's a bit risky, I'm just saying. But in the meantime, you do have a puncher's chance at making an Eastern Conference Finals, making a Finals. We just saw Indy last year. Just go, right, balls to the wall, make a Finals, go to a Game 7 against the Thunder. You look at the East, as good as the Knicks have been, we all went into the playoffs this year going, the East is wide open, and it was, and the Knicks steamrolled everybody. But still, so yeah, risk profile, high. Ceiling on the court, high. Window, short and narrow. But between Scoob and Kawhi, RJ and Emmanuel Quickly. Kawhi is the old dude. They probably need another big that they could try to sort this out. And, you know, if they have to go to battle against OKC or the Spurs at some point, you probably need someone a little bit better than Teenage Mutant Jakob Poeltl. Calamari Boyles is fine, but still. Anyway, so for the Raptors, you can see why they'll do it. They're just like, right, dude, anyone can win the East. Why not us? And like to get them out of that middling morass that they've been sort of stuck in, they've won one playoff series since Kawhi left, right? So they bring the prodigal son back home. So why not? The flip side, the Clippers getting out of the Kawhi business is A, hilarious, B, extremely smart. Because out of all of this, the Clippers have made out like fucking bandits. Absolute bandits. This is highway robbery we haven't seen since the likes of Ned Kelly. It is crazy. They've traded Zoobs, a 36-year-old James Harden, and a 35-year-old Kawhi Leonard for Darius Garland, Benny Mathurin, Isaiah Jackson, Brandon Ingram, Grady Dick, 4 first-rounders, which was this year's 2026 number 5 pick Keaton Wagler, a 2029 first-rounder from Indy, a 2031 and 2033 first rounder from Toronto, 1 pick swap in 2027, 4 second rounders, right? To get that, to get 5 players, 4 firsts, another first swap, and 4 second rounders for old-ass James Harden, old-ass Kawhi Leonard, and yes, Zoobs. But Zoobs, I mean, you're looking at Zoobs and then you look at Wemby and you look at Chet, you look back at Zoobs and go, yeah, we could probably do better. That's ridiculous. They have done awesome out of this. To turn that aging weird core that hadn't done shit into basically on the run reset is fucking massive. You've already kind of got like a backcourt set between Garland and Wagler. That's unreal. Now you've got plug and play Spindles Ingram. You've got Benny Mathurin if you decide to bring him back if you need to. You've got these picks. You've got plenty of options heading forward. And boom, the Clippers have just completely reset on the fly. They get an offer they basically can't refuse for Kawhi Leonard for a 35-year-old dude who just came off his like most consistent season ever because he stayed healthy remarkably the entire time. And they didn't make the playoffs. Yes, you should pull the ripcord. So love this for the Clippers. The only thing I guess is they really, you know, you want to talk about like injury-plagued stars like Paul George and Kawhi Leonard when they're in the Clippers. They did bring in Darius Rucker Judy Garland, who isn't exactly a paragon of health himself. But still, he's young and, you know, maybe not going to build around him, but he at least gives you a solid, steady 26-year-old at the point guard position who can do a little bit of everything, who might have a little bit of that star quality to him as well. You've got Wagler next to him as well as his rookie running mate. You've got Benny Mathurin, Bubba Miller, your pick. You've got Grady Dick now, Kobe Sanders, who you brought back. You've got Chris Dunn, Derek Jones Jr., Lopez. Like, who knows what could happen now? Who knows? But still, I kind of like the path they've put themselves upon, right? This is taking, like, you're not beholden to Kawhi anymore. You're not beholden to cousin Dennis. I'm going to talk about aspiration again later, but jeez. Great job, Clippers. So, what does this mean, Jim? Is this like, you know, the Clippers sort of ducking down into the lower reaches of next year's Western Conference? Probably. It's like, welcome back, Clippers, says 14th place in the West. Sacramento are like, back, are we? Interesting. But still, the West is an absolute bloodbath. And the Clippers going, no, we want to get Ingram so we can stay relevant. It's like, that's fine, but he's a placeholder at best. Still, great job by the Clippers. Raptors, the 31 and 33 picks are going to 100% bite you in the ass. But you're swinging. You know, you're swinging for the fences. You're going full Steve Smith, couldn't give a fuck mate moment, just like backing away, slogging it over like the point boundary. In a, one of those stupid, how the hell did he hit that over point sixes, right? Love that sort of shit. And so, look, you can't fault them for not fucking trying and bringing him home. He's like, yeah, I want to retire a Raptor. It's like, all right, cool, Kawhi. I guess that'll work out. And it's kind of nice. Like, there's a little bit of the NBA romanticism about this because it was like the world's most successful fucking 1 year, 1 night stand. Like the most successful rent-a-star we've seen in a bajillion years, where Kawhi goes there for 1 year, takes them to the fucking promised land. You got Jurassic Park going off its head there in Toronto, and why not run it back? The only big problem is he's already fucking 35 now, right? So remember that amazing 2019 run. It's going to be 7 years ago, which is crazy. In that run, he did also put up the 3rd most amount of points in a playoff run in NBA history, which is pretty crazy. But still, it's going to be he won't have to do as much heavy lifting. They now do have a substantial amount of talent on that Raptors team where he can be a little bit more of a pinch hitter. We've got Scoob and RJ and IQ running the show. You got Calamari Boyles as your young buck defensive stud. If they can upgrade the Pirtle spot, who fucking knows? But look, makes sense to have a crack right now. East is still wide open. And if you look at it and go, shit, man, I don't mind the way we match up against like the Knicks and Boston and everybody. Let's have a fucking crack. Sure. So, yeah, if he sticks around for a couple of years, maybe you get lucky. Maybe you get another one. But what a crazy fun story. The big thing will simply just be whether or not he can stay fucking healthy, right? That's always going to be the Kawhi story. It's always going to be the Kawhi problem because, you know, that's one of his weird things. It's like availability is the best ability. And over the years, Kawhi, so this last year, played 65 games. It's pretty good. Played 37 the year before, 68 the year before that, 52, 52, 57. Played 60 with the Raptors that 1 year, won a title. So, don't know. Going to be pretty fun. So, Kawhi is a Toronto Raptor. Welcome home. He's a fun guy. The Clippers, yeah, look, if you look at the West right now and the way it sort of sits, if you sort of go back and through last year's standings and you think about, all right, who's better? OKC, the Spurs, the Nugs, probably the Rockets, the Wolves, the Blazers probably. Who knows about the Suns? Who knows about the Warriors? The Pelicans are solid. The Mavs are solid. Grizzlies getting better. The Kings, the Jazz should all be better. I kind of feel like the Clippers could also be like, you know, in that bottom three, outside the top 10. But look, they've got a fucking treasure trove now. That's fine. To get that back for a 35-year-old Kawhi, you do it 100% of the time. It's fine. My big side question for all of this is, why the fuck did Detroit not try to just jam themselves in there and go, we don't care if he wants to sign an extension with us. He would fix absolutely everything that ails us. Minnesota, I mean, they've got nothing left to trade. That's the tough part. But Detroit's an obvious one. Even if Boston had have gone, look, the Jaylen Brown thing is really shitting us up the wall. How about just Kawhi for JB right now? Just call it in. Let's just fucking go. I don't even care if he wants to stick around. We're now out of the JB business. I don't know. There's a couple of other sort of like bits and bobs where you're like, I feel like you probably should have kicked the tires on this a little bit more. Dallas. But at the same time, if no one else is willing to pony up 2 firsts, unprotected, fucking hell. Yeah, you'd want to make sure that he's actually going to continue on with you after this year. So I'll pay that. So yeah, I can't really begrudge other teams really for not jumping in and, you know, sight unseen, extension unsigned, jumping in. It is a little bit hard to think, like, not to think that it's like the Raptors getting back with an X. You know, it's fun for a little bit. You're like, wow, why did we ever break up? And then it slowly starts creeping back in. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's why we broke up. Regret, resentment just builds up and up and up. And then it all goes to shit real fucking quick. So, yeah, I don't know. Now it's a 35-year-old Kawhi. Maybe it's just like, you know, I'm a bit more mature. I know it. Nah, I don't think that's how he's going to go. It's just more you're going to be paying a shit ton of, like over $50 million for a 38-year-old Kawhi is going to be a bit hard to swallow, but here we are. Right, so Toronto, Kawhi, Clippers, mad out like bandits. Other teams probably wouldn't have topped that Toronto offer, and here we are. The other big trade, Ja Morant, sent to the Portland Trailblazers for Jeremy Grant, Chris Murray, and wait, that's it? What do you mean that's it? Jeremiah Grant, and Chris Murray that was it. Far out. That's crazy, isn't it? Memphis, you poor bastards. If that's the best return you could get for your man, Ja Morant, that is just, it's bloody terrifying, isn't it? So if you sort of go back through this and you go, well, yes, he's an explosive athlete who doesn't seem to have that much explosiveness left in his athleticism. He can't shoot. And he loves shooting. Well, yeah, unless it's guns. He fucking loves to do that. He's all about that. But, wow. I will tell you what. In terms of trades, it's just... To get Ja Morant for fucking nothing is awesome for Portland. It also feels like there should be something else coming, right? Surely there's a Jaylen Brown trade on the horizon because Portland now have Ja Morant, Jrue Holiday, Scoot Henderson, and Damian fucking Lillard. Remember? He's still on the Blazers again after his Achilles tear. I'm no math magician, but I'm pretty sure he can't play 4 point guards at the same time. Oh, Lord. I will tell you what. So if you can trade for Jaylen Brown and maybe Sam Hauser or something and send back Jrue Holiday back to Boston with Scoot Henderson and Shaedon Sharpe, there you go. Lock it up. No other picks. I think Portland might own a Boston pick as well. Maybe you don't need Sam Hauser, or maybe you get Sam Hauser and you give them back their pick at some point. But Scoot, Shaedon, and Jrue for Jaylen Brown, and insert Sam Hauser here or whatever. I mean, it's not that bad, but at the same time, at the moment, we don't know anything more. That's kind of it. So, Lordy, what are we doing? Jeremy Grant and Chris Murray, I mean, it's just a bit of sure, for the Grizzlies. To the point where I'm like, why is even Jeremy Grant in this trade? He's the last thing they sort of need, really, when you got Cam Boozer and Edey and co already there. But look, bit of depth, sure. But yeah, it's just a bit of a head scratcher kind of on both sides. So, just really strange. 4 point guards on Portland. Memphis sitting there going, all right, now we've got Jeremiah Grant, and bloody Chris Murray, the crap Murray. And, okay, right. So it's a bit of a weird one. I would love Ja Morant to turn it all around and be absolutely awesome in Portland. But of all the landing spots, I kind of feel like that's maybe one of the worst, right? I mean, does he start? Does Dame come off the bench as he works his way back from the Achilles? Or are you starting Dame next to Ja? And going, well, Dame can shoot the piss out of it. Scoot can come off the bench if we keep him. But Ja can start at the 2 and we'll go double-headed point guards. And it seems very strange. To the point where, it feels like maybe there's moving him on a little bit further. The dude's 26, but he's only played 79 games in his last 3 seasons as Ja. So it's a bit of a roll of the dice for Portland, and it's basically a free one because Jeremy Grant and Chris Murray, they gave them a little bit of depth, obviously, but with the emergence of Tamani Kamara and, bringing in all the pieces you've actually already brought in on Portland, where Denny's taking that giant leap forward last year. Yeah, Jeremiah Grant was on the outer anyway, so whatever. It's basically, again, as I said, free roll. They bring back Time Lord. They've got Yang Hansen. They've got Klingon. They've got their big dudes. The big problem will sort of be their backup 4 spot. And I'm pretty sure they'll be able to piece something together. But Ja Morant in Portland, it just feels weird, right? It feels weird trying to imagine him in that jersey. So I don't know how this is going to work or if he stays there. But for now, that's where he is. And I don't hold really high hopes for the Ja Morant Portland experiment. And to be honest, I can't imagine it will go great for... Portland had this little bit of a moment where they're the feel-good, awesome, fun team after that draft. And the year that they had last year, going up against the Spurs in the first round, you could sort of see, if we have a healthy Shaedon Sharpe, who knows what can happen. Now you've got Scoot, you've got Giroux, you've got Denny, and now you're just kind of throwing Ja Morant in there as a bit of a, how you going? Weird. Really weird. Probably one of the weirdest superstar trades we've had in a long time. And it adds to the simple idea that if you reverse it back to the start of this year and people talking about, the sort of star guards who could be on the move this year, right? If you go back to the start of the last year, Trae Young, Ja Morant, and then LaMelo Ball. And you're like, oh, look, I don't think all three of them are going to get... All three of them have got traded! That's crazy! LaMelo is still probably the most surprising considering how good the Hornets were in the second half of the season. And Trae, he got offloaded for a bag of chips. But at least those chips were decent chips. Like CJ McCollum's not shit. Ja Morant, as I said, got traded for the shit bag of chips. The own brand chips. Where you're like, half this bag is fucking air. The chips themselves, none of them are big. They're all broken. This is fucked. So, not great. Portland fans seem very, very, very just confused, bemused. Not shooketh, but just a little bit, what the fuck are we doing? So, it's pretty funny. So, Ja Morant on Portland. LeBron James is no longer an LA Laker. The funniest part is he waited until Bronny James's contract was guaranteed to inform them that he was not coming back to LA, which is pretty funny. So I love that. He's like, hey, Bronny, is that check cleared? Yeah, sick. Yeah, g'day, Rob Pelinka. It's LeBron. Yeah, fuck off. Click. I love that he called it a stint as well. Hope that I kept it all going in my stint there. So 8 years with the Lakers, which is his longest continuous stint with somebody, right? Which is pretty funny to think about. Wins the Mickey Mouse title in 2020 in the bubble. And now, basically the Lakers had told him, if you want to stick around, that's cool. We want you back. But apparently they'd been operating as though they knew that he wasn't going to come back. So he was apparently, told Rich Paul to go out and find out who I should go and play for this year, who wants me, and then we'll make a decision. And that's kind of it. So he's pieced out on the Lakers. So it's now, just down to Luka and Austin Reeves. Marcus Smart's already fucked off. DeAndre Ayton's come back for the Lakers, but no LeBron James. So what does this mean if you want to contextualize it? Well, LeBron used to be the power center of the NBA, right? And he still has the super duper star power in terms of the spotlight. But the game is a lot more hit and miss all of a sudden because he's fucking 41. And you get that on the big jobs, right? So he is now sort of sitting in this spot where he's like, all right, well, I can add to a team to a degree, but, the entire league doesn't revolve around me anymore. And it's a really strange situation for him to find himself in, no doubt. But also, you're going to get to this point in your career at some point, and that's where he is. So now he gets to take his talents to wherever the fuck he wants. Where will that be? Obviously, Golden State is the sort of obvious candidate. Draymond Green is decline his player option. LeBron's sitting there going, maybe I'll come hang out. That'll be kind of fun. Cleveland, with Dean Wade signing with Philly, suddenly they're just like, hello LeBron. Miami, if he wants to, they've signed Tim Hardaway. They haven't brought back Norm. They've restructured a rekajiggered Andrew Wiggins' contract. They have a little bit of wiggle room if he wants to go back there and play for fuck all, but it can be done. How about Minnesota? I'll tell you what. That would be fun as shit. I just can't imagine it happening. San Antonio, they have brought back Champagny and Harrison Barnes, but I don't know. Golden State seems like the biggest obvious candidate right now. I've always just gone look, the romanticism vibe that we've talked about already in Kawhi going back to Toronto. LeBron going back to Cleveland for a third stint would be kind of awesome, I reckon. I don't think it really puts them over the top in the East, but it does make them a little bit more interesting, so why not? But anyway, look, I think contextually, yeah, the simple idea of the power dynamics in the NBA shifting away from LeBron, it's been going that way for a long time, and now he's not a Laker. I mean, I still kind of I never liked the Lakers move anyway for him. It never felt like he was, even actually, to be honest, this last season, when he was just like out there playing a lone hand as Luke has gotten injured, Austin Reeves has gotten injured, and he's just like, fuck it, I'm LeBron James. Check this out. They beat the Rockets, like absurd gear. And you're like, this is awesome. That was like the most Lakery he'd felt and the most like accepted he'd felt as a Laker. And now he's gone. So it's just a really strange chapter in his career that we'll no doubt fucking debate till the end of days. He should go to the Warriors. That'd be fun, wouldn't it? Him and Steph. If Clay ends up there as well, let's run it all back. There you go. Speaking of which, Anthony Davis. Oh, we're going to get the big four. We'll trade for AD. We'll get LeBron to go with Draymond and Steph. It'll be awesome. It's like, oh yeah, who's playing like point of attack defense on that team? Pods is like, I will. It's like, get out of here, you. Anthony Davis, I do love it. The Wiz are apparently not interested in trading Anthony Davis. They're not listening to trade offers for him as well. Apparently their new GM is a huge AD fan. Oh, he must be good mates with Nico. Nobody wants to trade AD until you get an offer where you will trade AD. Right? That's how Anthony Davis's career has gone. There is always a price. I don't know if the Warriors will get there, but they could. Jimmy Butler and his torn ACL and that big old contract just sitting there. Got to sweeten this pot. Then you might get the Wizards moving on that proclaimed reticence to trade one Anthony Monobrow Davis. It does sort of feel like he just does not fucking want to be a Wizard, which is funny as hell. But I still feel like that team would be really, really interesting with him, Trae Young, DeBanster, fucking Alexander Sarr, Bub Carrington and co, Trey Johnson. They might be better than the Warriors. I'm just saying. But anyway. The Wiz at the moment saying, we don't want to trade AD, so fuck off. We did also have another trade where Sacramento just discarded another first-round point guard and just chucked him in the bin, which is just quite amazing because it does seem like they are absolute fucking morons at this point. Where Devin Carter, he of one of the single greatest NBA hairlines, has been shipped to the Atlanta Hawks for along with a second-round pick, and that's it. So, wow. Sacramento just clearing the decks for Darius Acuff. They do know that you can keep point guards, right? Like, the De'Aaron Fox trade was crazy. The Halliburton trade was crazy. Like, just keep going. Like, they're fucked in the head. Sacramento. Like, Devin Carter wasn't burning the fucking house down, but he also didn't suck. Davion Mitchell, I think, was drafted by them as well, right? Morons. Anyway, so that's kind of it. And then Jaylen Brown is the other sort of thing just sort of hanging over here. Just loose end, right? Just a dag on a sheep's ass. Just hanging over here. And it feels like the Celtics have gone, ooh, well, we might have screwed the pooch on this one. Because unless they can pull off a Portland deal that gets them a lot of like youth and depth and some picks back, they might be fucking cooked. Because there's not a lot of other deals out there. Now that Toronto have pulled the pin on this Leonard deal, I mean, just bring him back, right? But yeah, Boston are up shit creek at the moment without a paddle. Let's see if they can get a paddle, and whether it be a Trey Murphy deal or a Portland deal or something. Orlando has been weirdly sort of quiet in all of this as well. Like, What about Franz Wagner for JB? Maybe it's something else. I don't know. Bit weird, but still. I feel like Jaylen Brown and Paolo Banchero. You're just kind of doing Tatum and Brown again, but you'd had Desmond Bain as well. So I don't know. But Jaylen Brown's like the weird thing sort of still hanging over everything. So until we have like a bit of a resolution on that, the off-season really isn't ever going to be over. This is going to be the never-ending off-season, right? Which is a bit weird, but 100% where we're at. So that's sort of what's happened. How about the free agency deal so far, right? Let's. I'm not going to grade them, but I will talk them out. Dean Wade goes to Philly from Cleveland. 4 years, $39 million. I've seen people go, oh, Dean Wade, $39 million. Yeah, for 4 years. It's less than $10 million a year. That's less than the mid-level exception. What are you talking about? I think it's fucking pretty good for Philly. Like, they just sort of need dudes who can shoot the fucking piss out of the ball. Next to VJ, Maxey, and Paul George, along with Embiid, like Dean Wade, Kelly Oubre, and like, that's just, yeah, more three-point shooting, a dude who knows where to be on defense. I do love that there are, for like the bunch of years at Cleveland are like, when we've got Dean Wade, we're really good. It's like, all right. So, but when he's not that imperative, and for less than fucking, what, less than $10 million a year, you're laughing at that. So I like that for Philly. Luke Kennard, the Duckman. 2 years, $13 million to go to Phoenix. There's an like everybody loves having a Luke Kennard, trading for Luke Kennard. Then they have Luke Kennard, and you're like, now I've got Luke Kennard. Cool. Remember when he was the Lakers' savior? That was fun. Tim Hardaway Jr. follows in his dad's footsteps and goes to Miami, buying 1 year, $6.5 million to play next to Giannis and Bam and be the only guy who can shoot on that team. Brutal. That's pretty good. It's a solid pickup at the cheap, I guess. Gets to go hang out with his old man. That's pretty fun. I mentioned this one earlier, the Extreme Zinger Meal.
The Extreme Zinger Meal.
Heading back to Golden State, 2 years, $40 million. There's only $3 million guaranteed on the second year, so it's a pretty decent deal for the Warriors. Like, if they get LeBron, the way they babied the Zinger through last year, and he still got fucking hurt, I don't know. There's still like even if they don't get Anthony Davis, but they get LeBron, they are still fucking fascinating if Zinger can stay healthy. That's always going to be the problem, though. It's if he can be the supercharged Zinger.
Supercharged Zinger Burger.
Right? Can he? Don't know. But they do look very, very interesting, that Warriors team, with the Zinger, with Draymond, with LeBron, with Steph. You know, no Moses Moody, no Jimmy Butler, but, you know, they've still got a couple of dudes. That's kind of fun. So good job by, Warriors getting Zinger. And if they get Anthony Davis, who fucking knows? Could be chaos. That way, you've actually suddenly got a bit of size to throw at the likes of OKC and San Antonio, don't you? Right? You've got Al Horford there as well. And they're sort of signing all these deals so they can actually finalize it once LeBron makes a decision. But yeah, ironically, LeBron making a decision again in 2026. What a world. Can't believe the last one was 16 years ago. But anyway, so yeah, Zinger, Al Horford, LeBron, AD. Suddenly you've got a lot of frontline size if that actually gets pulled off. The only other problem is everywhere else. Like, yes, Steph's good, but fucking hell, man. Anyway, Keon Ellis goes to Brooklyn. Cleveland's amazing pickup at the trade deadline. I love Keon Ellis, so I don't know what the fuck Cleveland and Kenny Atkinson were doing, but Brooklyn snagged him on a very cheap 2 year, $18 million deal. Again, less than the mid-level exception. Bogdan Bogdanovic goes to Houston on a 1 year deal. I didn't see a dollar attached to this, but that's pretty good. Like, for a team that just needed sort of more shooting off the bench, a little bit of extra playmaking as well. If they get Fred VanVleet or the Fighting VanVleets back this year, you've got Reed Shepherd, you've got Bogdan who can handle it a little bit. Solid. Like that for Houston. The Spurs bring back Harrison Barnes, Black Falcon, on a 1 year, $8 million deal, and Julian Champagnie on a 3 year, $45 million deal. Basically pissing off his $3 million team option. He was obviously very, very good in the playoffs. The only other dude, like, it's him and Devin Vassell who could actually hit fucking threes regularly for them. He was a little bit hit or miss. He had that Enfuego little bit where he just couldn't miss, and then had a couple of games where he couldn't hit shit. That's the Champagne situation. But the Spurs basically just going, right, this is cool. The other thing about the Spurs that's newsy is, like, we've got Rui Hachimura and John Collins and a couple of these other big forwards that San Antonio would probably be in the running for. They don't want to give anyone more than a two-year deal around that mid-level money, because obviously they're going to get absolutely slammed by the salaries of Wemby, Castle, and Harper at some point, right? So, yeah, smart moves, I guess. But bringing back Barnes and Champagny, sure. They probably need one more big body, one burly fella that can throw down a little bit. And we'll see how we go there. Speaking of which, Time Lord Robert Williams is staying in Portland. It's kind of nice. You got Klingon and you got Time Lord, Yang Hansen, I guess. Ja Morant just driving into a bunch of trees. It's going to be fun. But 3 years, $44 million for Time Lord. If he can stay healthy, it's a great deal, but that's the big question. Miami, Andrew Wiggins, 3 years, $64 million deal is what his sort of rekajiggered outlook is now. Which seems like a little bit, but then you realize Miami kind of have to pay to keep him, I guess, because they've got no one else next to Giannis. We go, yeah, all the talent in the world, plays basketball. It's like a 9-to-5 fucking accountancy job. And they brought back Simone Fontecchio on a 1-year deal. Pretty good. They've got to build out that depth as much as they can. They've got Hardaway, Wiggins, and Fontecchio next to Giannis and Bam and Davion Mitchell. Probably going to need someone who can shoot. Yeah, Hardaway Jr. is not too bad. Nurk goes back to Utah, 2 years, $22 million. That's all right. That's solid. Sort of breaking case of emergency. Backup big man as well, right? Between what? They've already got Lowry, Triple J. Kessler, I guess, is still floating around. So keeping Nurk is just very smart business. What I don't get is Kevin fucking Huerta. The Ginger Ninja returns to Detroit. 3 years, $27 million. Now, I would much prefer to have fucking Dean Wade than the Ginger Ninja. Yes, he might be my ginger brethren, but fuck me. That guy forgot how to shoot. Remember him on Sacramento? Deadeye. He's been fucking horrible. Well, not horrible, but just not very good for the last 2 years. Go back 3 years. His three-point shooting is falling off a fucking cliff. You meant to do one thing well, Kevin. Jesus. Anyway, so Detroit, that's a move, I guess. I mentioned Trace Jackson-Davis staying in Toronto 1 year, $2.4 million. DeAndre Ayton opted into his $8.1 million deal to stay with the Lakers. Zach Collins is sticking in Chicago 2 years, $17 million. That's fine, right? They've brought in Nick Claxton. Zach Collins is a backup big man on very $8.5 million. Love that. DeAndre Jordan staying in Denver for his 19th year for a 1 year deal. Not bad. Sham Wow is sticking with the Knicks. 4 years, $24 million is the reported deal. Thomas, not Kobe Bryant, is sticking around with Cleveland for another year as well. I didn't see the dollars on that. Kobe, not Bryant, the Colonel Sanders, is sticking with the Clippers on a 4 year, $11.2 million deal. Not bad. Bones Highland back to Minnesota as well on a 1 year deal. No one else wants him. Day'Ron Sharpe, very solid backup big man in Brooklyn. 2 years, $20 million. Love that. He's been super duper solid, ever dependable and reliable. It's just a pity the rest of the team's a bit weird and shit. Ousmane Deng, I mentioned that. Milwaukee brought him back for a 3 year, $17.5 million deal as well. I actually don't mind this. Ousmane, I mean, we've got the NBL connections there, but he's like 23. And he's just been sort of floating around, hasn't gotten much run. When he did get some run with Milwaukee last year, he wasn't bad. So that's a good cheap flyer, I think, for the Bucks. What else? Brandon Carlson off to Portland. 1 year, $2.5 million deal. Backup, big man. And all the guaranteed, sort of basically a couple of the contracts that needed to be guaranteed before free agency started were Chris Dunn with the Clippers at $5.5 million. Kyle Filipowski at $3 million with Utah. Leonard Miller with Chicago, $2.4 million. Not a bad sneaky one there as well. And Shvi Mihailuk with Utah at $3.8 million. Cam Christie on the Clippers, that got pushed back to July 20, and Cam Jones was waived by the Bulls as well. So, What's left to figure out after all of this, Jim? Well, LeBron James, obviously. I'd expect he goes to the Warriors, sort of make it all about him. It would be nice if he went to the Cavs. Jaylen Duren. So he's out there getting meetings with the Lakers and Sacramento, and basically hanging out with folks and going, yeah, I'm a free agent. And then Detroit's like, you're a restricted free agent, Jaylen. And so the Pistons are like, yeah, we're not going to sign and trade you. We are going to match any offer sheet you do sign with anybody. So all the Jaylen Duren stuff, it does sort of feel like Detroit are like, hey, man, go out and get your deal. We'll match it. But you do the legwork. We'll be waiting, which is good. It kind of feels like that's what Utah is doing with the next name, Walker Kessler. He's taking meetings as well, which, again, I do love. And Utah kind of like have probably got a number that they will go to. It'd be very interesting if someone can pry him away. I've said before, I think like Brooklyn should throw the fucking bag at him and just go, let's go. It doesn't feel like he wants to leave Utah. But yeah, the sort of back and forth that they've had, what was it, the 5-year 140 that he sort of turned down seems a bit strange. But anyway, Walker Kessler's still out there. But again, restricted is making it all a little bit tricky for him. Norm Powell still out there. Be nice if Detroit just, locked him away. But still, no news right there. The other Mitch Robinson as well. We still don't really quite know what's going on with him and the Knicks. But yeah, Mitch Robinson probably fairly in demand. The big problem is like who's got cash. Like Brooklyn's another one that could go after Mitch Robinson, rubbing in the Knicks' faces a little bit. Draymond obviously opted out. You expect him to go back to the Warriors. Just sort of depends on the numbers and like what's going to happen with LeBron. Johnny Kuminga, old cum dog millionaire, Atlanta. They declined the team option, I think, on him. So he's off and sort of floating around in the ether. And so is Benny Mathurin. I think same vibes. I'm pretty sure we didn't see anything pop off about his team. I think his team option was declined. So he's out there just sort of... Oh, no, they tendered him a qualifying offer. So he's restricted. Yeah, that makes sense. Bring him back. Marcus Smart is very much expected to sign with Houston at some point. Brad Beal declined his player option of $5.5 million. So I don't know where Brad Beal thinks he's going. Good luck, Bradley. It's like, oh, hey, man, I thought I was a big part of the Clippers. Oh. And then the obvious last two, a couple of the other ones. Sandro Mamushvili, he looks like he's very firmly on the Lakers' radar. And so is Q Grimes. Interesting names. I don't know how they fit with Luka and Reeves, but sure. And then you think about this sort of cadre of other sort of floating veteran-ish kind of guys. Anthony Simons, nothing going right yet. Very big possibility he ends up back in Chicago. They could use another body shooter, playmaker. Colin the Sex Man Sexton, again, backup guard, very, very handy for somebody, I think. He's like 27. Let's go the Sex Man. And then the two sort of big sort of power forwards, John Collins, that's a tall cocktail, and Rui Hachimura. Where do they land? Your guess is as good as mine at the moment, but yeah, we don't know. Both their names have been floating around. I do like that Brooklyn is involved in a bunch of these. It's like just because they've got money, they're just rumored in all of it. So it's a bit weird. And then my favorite one is Russell Westbrook. You know how much I love Rusty. Him back to Washington would be absolutely immense. That's what's rumored to have been happening. Russell Westbrook getting into that locker room with AJ DeBanster, Trae Young, Anthony Davis, Alexander Sarr speaking in French. Fucking sign me up. That'd be awesome. And yeah, that's kind of just about it. Like, I don't know, Okja Agbaji, sure. Who else? Aussie Matty T is like the last sort of standing Aussie as well, with probably no movement on Dante. Duop, obviously, ACL. Aussie Matty T. Matisse Thybulle is actually probably not a bad look if you're the Lakers. If you're like, well, we need 3-and-D dudes to put around Luka and Reeves because we just need someone who can play some fucking defense. And Aussie Matty T is like, oh, I can do defense. That's what I do. I don't know about the 3 part of the 3-and-D, but I can do the D. So that's what he should do. Right. And that's where we're at, right? So as I said, a very whelming day, opening day of free agency. Let's do some very quick nahs, I reckon. We've got some good ones here, and then we'll get out of here. So we'll take a very quick break, come back with some nahs right after. Let's say this.
This is Cam Glidden.
This is Anthony Drimmick.
This is Mitch McCarron.
This is Jason Kadee.
This is Darryl McDonald.
Hey guys, this is Hugh Greenwood.
Yo, what's going on? This is Illy.
This is Mark Worthington, or commonly known as Wortho, and you're listening to NBA Australia.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA
and you're
Australia.
listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Australia.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
Right, let's quickly do some nahs brought to you by you. That's right, you can help out and support the show very easily by going to buymeacoffee.com/NBA Australia. Very simple. You can essentially just shout me a coffee. Keep the lights on here. That also gets you in the Dead Set Legends Club, where you get exclusive content every month, which is very, very fun. Very fun to do. So yes, go do that. Buymeacoffee.com/NBA Australia. Matty B. Hey, Jim. Some of this trade stuff has been a bit weird. Yeah, nah. The Suns are a living definition of the concept that it's better to sit there and let everyone know you're a moron rather than opening your mouth to prove it. With the Bridges trade, I'm pretty sure they just opened their mouth. Yeah, nah. Yes, I love this. I absolutely love that adage as well, right? It's better to have people think that you're an idiot by sitting there silently than opening your mouth and proving it to them, right? That's what it sort of felt like with the Suns thing. Like Bridges that's not the cure that ails you. Like is that going to be the move that puts you over? A 2033 unprotected first for Miles Bridges should just, like, they should make Matt Ishbia just like sell the team at that point. Like, what are you doing? That is a Barry Crocker shocker of a trade. Yeah, and that's when you go, oh, but Michigan State's like, I don't give a fuck where you went to college. That's just, it's still stupid as hell. Yeah. It's like, oh, but we built, like, we had a really good year, built it up on defense and, like, you know, grit and grind. And then you trade for Miles Bridges? Jesus Christ. The only thing he's ground is his fucking ex-partner's neck bones. Oh, don't like that either. Like, just, he's a fucking piece of human garbage. Fuck Miles Bridges. Anyway, Jamie R. Jim, do you think the Hornets offloaded Ball because they were sick of his childish shit? Yeah, nah. I think they offloaded him so they didn't want to be culpable in the reckless driving charge that would eventually come across. Manslaughter and reckless driving that'll probably come across from LaMelo Ball when he plows like a hot pink Cybertruck into a group of Charlotte Hornets fans outside the arena one day. They're like, nah, he's your problem now. So yeah, they did offload him because of his childish shit. But I think there's like almost a legal part of that. Oh, God. Look out, Portland, people of Minnesota, because fucking hell. Those icy roads, God damn, he is, I'll tell you, you got to have a cop or two stationed outside that arena as he pulls out at every game. Ticket, until his dumb ass realizes to not do the dumb fucking shit. Yeah. But LaMelo, in general, the childish shit, I think they probably did just go, this guy can't be the leader of our team. Right? And we better pull the ripcord. Well, and we talked about this the other day. It is, you know, the sell when it's palatable kind of moment versus the sell high. But, yeah, if you look at it and go, he's not going to lead us anywhere apart from maybe to a legal stoush after he's plowed into a crowd of pedestrians in a bright green Lambo or something, right? The dude's a fucking, as I've said before, he's as dumb as a bag of bricks, and his face kind of looks like one too. But anyway, his childish shit is probably part and parcel of why they did trade him. They were like, look, we've got a really solid, with Spindles Miller, with Connie Nips, with Kobe White, with Naz Reid, like, we've got now like a solid group of adults who are really, really fucking talented. And to get Naz Reid in, that's going to help them get all better rather than LaMelo being a fucking absolute moron. Do you remember when he hit the shit out of that mascot who scared him as like a bit of a viral thing? Yeah. The guy's a fucking idiot. Anyway. Matty G. Yeah, after the ball trade, given the lineup an obvious need for someone the size of a 4 who can defend 1 through 4 or even 1 through 5 with not a lot of dollars available, should the Wolves go fishing, if you catch my drift? Yeah, nah. So I didn't mention the Ben Simmons stuff earlier, but what a fucking idiot. Box Hill Benny basically throwing Aussie Matty T, Matisse Tybal, under the bus. Yeah, so I passed the ball to Matisse, who was shooting a higher percentage than me. What about if he had to hit the fucking free throw? And then he's like, hey, now, but he's my dog. It's like, no, you just dogged your mate, you fucking prick. Box Hill Ben Simmons, get fucked. Worst dude on the planet. Oh, hey, man, I'm just like trying to get back into like shape and maybe another team will take, a chance on me. But, I'm just out here trying to get right before I go. But nah, you throwing Matty T under the bus means you're an absolute fucking dog. The dumbest fucking prick on the planet with absolutely zero self-reflection. Like, seriously, I was... So reading... You go back and you read that entire thing and you're just like, oh, he is a fucking idiot. So everything is well deserved, Ben Simmons. There you go. Unpopular opinion of the day.
Now look at me, please. Look at me.
Well, to answer Matty G's question, I wouldn't have Ben Simmons on my team at all because he's a fucking idiot. Simple. Absolute waste of space, stole a bunch of money. He's got the heart the size of a fucking pinprick. What a moron. My unpopular opinion of the day today is, with Kawhi now going to the Raptors, Boston kind of have to keep Jaylen Brown, right? If you're not going to trade him for a shit ton of depth, like a half-decent star-ish caliber kind of dude and some more depth, like a Pelicans trade, if you're going to get Trey Murphy and Herb Jones and some other stuff back. If you get Eve Missy in that deal, maybe, but fucking that's pipe dream shit, like a crack pipe dream if you're a Boston fan. I would rather sort of just go, look, fuck, dude, they've got Kawhi, they've got Scotty Barnes. We need Jaylen Brown on this team because the funniest thing will be if they trade Jaylen Brown Boston, they'll be like, oh man, we need like a wing next to Jason Tatum who can play defense and shoot threes and play make a little bit. It's like, that's the guy you just had, Jaylen Brown, but you shit him up the wall by trying to trade him as soon as fucking look at him. They tried to trade him for Kevin Durant. They tried to trade him for Kawhi. They tried to trade him for Paul George. They tried to trade him for Giannis, and eventually he went, fuck this, I'm out. Bring him back because you need him. Right? You're fucked otherwise, I reckon. Kawhi is a dangerous motherfucker, and this was a team this year that couldn't get by fucking Philly. You're staring down the barrel of another one with Toronto. I'm just saying. I'd rather keep Jaylen Brown. And then finally, last one for today, Outback Takehouse. It's Wednesday at Outback, and you know what that means? Oh, yeah. Hump Day specials. And our Hump Day special is the hump. That's right. We go into the Outback. We take down a couple of feral camels, slice off the humps, and what you do is you stuff them full of whatever the fuck you got laying around. Hummus, chickpeas, mince, mint, tomato sauce, some onions, some carrots, some celery. Doesn't matter. Throw it all in there. Bake it. Slow roast it for a good 24 hours. Nice and tender. Boom. There's your Hump Day special. And it's only at Outback. Goes great with our Toowoomba salmon. And today's Flame Grill take is Kawhi Leonard went to Canada to avoid being arrested in the US of A. That's right. Can you, extradite him from Canada? But mostly, Adam Silver pushed the Kawhi trade to Toronto so that he can sweep the aspiration scandal even easily under the rug. Because no one's going to give a fucking shit now that Kawhi's been traded to Canada, only at Outback. 100% of a chance this is like part of the deal with the Clippers. They're like, oh, wow, Toronto have made a pretty awesome deal for Kawhi. And Steve Ballmer's like, get him the fuck out of here, right? And just like out the door. Adam Silver's like, you need to get rid of Kawhi so that when I announce the punishment, air quotes, for circumventing the salary cap, we don't have to punish Kawhi because he's on a new team. We'll just fine you some money, Steve Ballmer, and you have more money than God. So it will be a bit, but we won't let you basically have to really bring the hammer down on the player. And it's like, away we go. So this is 100% the NBA Clippers Toronto giving the NBA and the Clippers an out with the aspiration scandal by pissing Kawhi off. Back to Canada. He was obviously read the riot act by Adam Silver, and off he goes. So fare thee well, Kawhi Leonard. All right. And that's it basically for today. So because really we've got a few more free agency things to deal with for the next day or two. There'll probably be another big trade or two as well. So what we will do is come back on Friday, basically sort of wrap up all the remaining moves that get done between now and then. We might do, it'll be Friday, unless something massive happens tomorrow. For Thursday, we probably won't jump on, but Friday we will wrap up everything else and then sort of set you up for the rest of the off season, because then I'm going to Queensland. So, yeah. As I said earlier, if anyone's got any tips for Mission Beach up in Queensland, fucking let us know. It should be a really good time. So we'll be up there for 2 weeks. So really, hopefully a couple of things happen basically from here on out through the next 2 days. We can wrap them up on Friday. If anything else happens over the weekend, I can probably jump on Sunday night really quickly and throw down any sort of reactions or whatever. But we're on a plane on Monday. So that'll be kind of it. So, yeah, Friday, we'll wrap up everything else that's remaining, set you up for any other remaining questions, and let you chill. So I can actually just go and have a bit of a holiday with the fam, which would be kind of nice. So, yeah, back on Friday. In the meantime, though, make sure you're following NBA Straya across Twitter, Facey, IG, TikTok, YouTube, all the good stuff, of course. You can also get around Footy Unfilterated for all your AFL gear with myself and Jez. It's always a great time. NFL Straya as well. We'll be back soon with that. Gaz and I hung out on Friday night. Very fun. And, of course, Jim does Supercoach. Got the AFL Supercoach show coming out tomorrow. So, rate, review, star, subscribe across all of those shows on your podcast app and YouTube. Jump over to YouTube. You can see me doing all this. It's very fun. You can also support the show. buymeacoffee.com/NBA Straya. Big thanks go to From Oslo for the intro and outro song, as well as to House Hats, Joshua Delarentis, Fascinating Gold Mines, Ramshackle Army, Iowa, Sex Jedi, Green and Dozers. They're behind all the tunes you hear on the show. NBA Straya supports Australian bands, so should you. All right, it's been a long one today, so I'll leave you there. We will catch you on Friday, you dickheads. This is NBA Straya saying, look after yourselves, would ya? Hug your mates, and later, hosen.
We're all faking